Poetic Society LAX 2047 Group 128.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. We are from LAX 2047, Poetic Society Group 128. For today, we are recording video discussion 5 with our theme is mental health. Before we start our discussion, as usual, I would like to introduce our group member. Firstly, my name is Farah Rehana binti Ghazi and my matric number is 191940. I study in Bachelor of Science Nutrition and Community Health from Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. Next, I will pass to Aida Ariani.
Hi, good morning. My name is Nuraida Ariani binti Muhammad Razi. My matric number is 192111. I'm from Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. I'm taking Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Community Health. Next is Farah Halini.
Hi, my name is Farah Halini binti Kudin with matric number 191963. I'm taking Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Community Health from Faculty of Medicine and Science. Next, I pass to Anis Hazira.
Hi, my name is Anis Hazira with matric number 192271. My course is Nutrition and Community Health, and my faculty is Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. Next, I pass to moderator.
Alright, these are all our group member. For today themes as I have mentioned before, it is about mental health. Let me share screen. Can you all see my screen? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Wait. Alright. Our today's theme is about mental health. Before we start our discussion, I would like to briefly explain what is mental health. Okay, what is mental health? Mental health is include our emotion, physically, and social well-being. It's affect how we think and how we feel and also how we act. It's also determine how we handle stress or any other related and make choices. Mental health is very important at every stage of life, from childhood to adolescence to through adulthood. Alright, our today's poems entitled is The Owl and the Chimpanzee. For the first two stanza, Aida Ariani will read it.
Okay, I will read for the first and two stanza. Okay, ready ya?
Okay, ready?
Ready.
So the title is The Owl and the Chimpanzee. The owl and the chimpanzee went to sea in a beautiful boat called the mine. The owl was sensible, clever, and smart. The chimp was a little behind. The owl made decisions based on the facts and knew where to steer its ship. The chimp reacted too little. The chimp reacted a little too fast, and often the boat would tip. For the second stanza, the wave would come and crash about a boat. The chimp would start to cry. Large tears would roll right down his face, afraid that he would die. The chimp and the owl would wrestle at night. When the world was quiet and still, the chimp would jump up and rock the boat, and the boat would start to fail. For the next stanza, I will pass to Farah Raihana.
Alright, let me continue the poem. Then the owl stepped in and grabbed the pail and start to empty it out. And the chimpanzee would start to get quite cross and would often scream and shout. The battle continued night after night until the chimp started to see that if it let the owl take control, a more peaceful night it would be. Alright, for the overall meaning, Aida Arani will explain it.
Okay, for the meaning of this poem, I explain. So, so, so the meaning is the internal battle. This is the overall meaning of the poem. Okay, the meaning is the internal battle many of us face when the more primitive part of our brain, which is the chimp brain, take control. The wise owl within all of us is seen here fighting with the chimp who seem determined to make the situation worse, despite its fears of the situation worsening. What this poem teaches us, internal conflict is normal in human. If we can learn to control our primitive, scare brain more often, and listen to our inner owl, we will enjoy a more peaceful journey. This poem is an analogy on the subject of our mind. The owl, the sensible and logical character in this poem, is relate to the part of our mind that solve the problems. This part of our mind can act calmly and collectively during time of distress. The other character, which is the chimp or the chimpanzee, acts out of the fear and emotion during times of the distress. This part of our mind can become present as well. All together, these two unlike characters ride along in their beautiful boat called the Minds. That's why the boat in the first stanza it called the Mind. And the owl and chimpanzee in our minds are contradictory friends, but they make us whole and human. Yes.
Alright, that's the overall
The,
meaning for our poem. For the briefly meaning for each stanza, what the poem trying to say that the boat is which referring to our mind. In our mind, there is two different side where there is the owl part and there is the chimpanzee part. The owl is the sensible, clever, smart, tend to solve problem, while the chimpanzee is more to the clumsy one, panic, and referring to the negative thought. Um, if and the second stanza in the second stanza, it said that when the wave would come and crash aboard, the wave are referring to a problem in our life or any unwanted situation. When we facing a problem, if we let the chimpanzee or the negative thought take over our brain, take over our mind, then we will start crying, feeling sad, feeling down, and instead of trying to think to solve a problem.
Mm.
This whole poem picture give us a picture on how what would happen if we let the chimpanzee take over our mind.
Mm.
The chimpanzee will become restless, crying, and then like the stanzas to have said, the chim would jump up and rock the boat. Means it make your mind become messy. You cannot
Mm.
think right, and then the
Yes.
boat would start to feel. Means the boat start to feel. That's mean when the boat start to feel, then the boat might sink. That mean
Yes.
if you keep filling your mind with the negative thought,
Mm.
then you might feel sinking and feeling like hopeless.
Mm.
And then for the next stanza, eh, then once the owl step in and grab the pill, means the owl, the positive side in your brain take over you, it will
Mm.
try to empty out your brain, try to remove all the negative thought in you. And
Mm.
then the last stanza said that the battle continue night after night until the chip start to see that if it let the owl take over, a more peaceful night it would be.
Mm.
Then only the chimpanzee realized that if only the owl, if only you won't let the negative thought take over you, your life would be peaceful and more happier. That's what this poem trying to say.
Mm.
Um, what I'm trying to relate this poem with our current situation. We are in COVID-19 pandemic, and many people are struggling with mental health issue, and it is state that mental health issue are the second like main killer right after heart disease.
Oh.
Our current situation of COVID-19 have said that many people are finding it hard to cope with the isolation and economic hardship related to COVID-19. And being in isolation increase the fear and helplessness that someone feel, and then it could lead to anxiety and depression. These are
Mm.
related to the chimpanzee in the poem. And sometimes when people uh, is isolated in a crowded family or space, the environment can also be toxic too,
Mm.
which influence people to become stressed, depressed, and anxious.
Mm.
And there is a local media reported that there is a spike in call to women aid groups over domestic violence during MCO. Some people who cannot cope with this stress situation tend to use violence to other people.
Mm.
That's why domestic violence also increased during this pandemic. And according to the police, there is 78 suicide nationwide from 18 March, where when the shutdown began.
Mm.
And then there is a Malaysian study have found that 45% of Malaysian respondents will experience varying level of anxiety and depression during this MCO.
Mm. Yes.
And then having to adjust this sudden change related to the movement restriction and face their financial problems, employment, job loss, education, or even obtaining food supplies can also be very stressful, especially in a more remote area. And
Mm.
this may worsen the loneliness and increase the domestic violence.
Mm.
And there is a helpline called Befriender. Befriender have also received a call from those in a quarantine center who were suffering from anxiety due to the isolation.
Mm.
From here, we can see that Malaysians are struggling with mental health issue during this MCO.
Mm.
That's why we need to take this issue seriously
Yes.
as it affect not only Malaysia but the whole country.
Mm.
What do you think about this poem?
Mm.
Um, okay, first of all, I'd like to say that I like this poem, and this is, I think, an example of a good poem. And from the poem, from what I understand from the poem, it's like our mind have uh, many characters, and
Mm. Mm.
and
Yes, yes.
we ourselves have the full responsibility to control our mind, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the meaning.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. The rhythm for this poem I think is okay, and the word used is very simple, but it has its own meaning.
Mm.
Like the second stanza for the second last line, the about the chim rope the boat,
Mm.
that line.
Mm.
Actually, I not quite understand, but after Farah Raihana explain it, and this is the meaning for this line, something like that. It's simple, but it has
Meaning.
its
Meaning.
own meaning.
Yes.
Meaning.
Mm,
How about
and
Anissa?
this poem also suitable for this current situation.
Yes.
And I like the people. Never mind lah. The it's a comment from me.
Alright.
How about
For me, I like I like this poem because this poem they describe a character to to ensure that the message of this poem can be delivered effectively to the reader, so that the reader can understand what the poem trying to convey. And especially for the mental health issue, sometimes we shouldn't use any terms of words that can trigger the mental health patient. So this poem, it has a word that very simple, and it is safe to use for the patient or the normal people to read it. And I think this poem is also good to be read to the children, and to make them more aware about mental health issue. So I think this poem is also one of the good poem that we can read to the public. So that's all from
Yes.
me.
Yes. I also agree with Anis Hazira. This poem is very good, as we can see right now. There are many suicide issue in our country and other country. So that if we deliver the message, we can send the message to them so they will understand this poem.
Alright. So in conclusion,
Mm-mm.
the moral value that we learn from this poem, we know that it's okay to feel down sometimes. It's okay to
Yes.
be the chimpanzee. But when we have a problem, try to find the inner owl in ourselves. Try to be calm and try to solve our problem.
Yes.
Uh, alright, I think that's all for our discussion.
Oh, that's
Thank you,
oh,
everyone.
that's not